I'm the dude. So that's what you call me.
Are you a virgin?
Yeah, not since I was 10.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Come on to the coast. We get together, have a few laughs.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Can I return it if it doesn't fit?
It always fits. Eventually.
Welcome back to Movie Mingle. I'm Caveman.
And I'm Maggie.
And today we're on episode 67. And Maggie and I just finished watching, literally just finished watching Call Me By Your Name from 2017.
Ooh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Hit one of us real hard.
Jesus.
But not the one you think.
Christ, Maggie just bawled her eyes out with this movie.
I did not.
No, you didn't.
Actually.
Which I'm surprised by.
But
we're going to get to that.
I'm a little too... Anyways,
let's not jump ahead.
No.
We are here to talk about the movie Call Me By Your Name from 2017, directed by Luca Guadagnino. I think that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. That was actually pretty... I mean, yeah,
Luca Guadagnino made... He's a very... especially recently, very well-known director by now. He just recently came out with the movie Queer, which I watched with Daniel Craig. My friend and I watched that one in the theater, which...
Your boyfriend.
When two very straight...
Very straight?
Well, when two men who...
love each other.
Who love each other very much go to a theater together.
But only in a platonic way.
And watch a super gay movie together. Things might happen. But they never do.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
I feel as though we might need to start off this podcast by saying that we are members of the Alphabet Mafia. And thus,
no, I mean, Queer was a great movie.
Would I like it?
Probably, if you liked this one, which we'll get to, because I don't know if you did. We'll get to it eventually, but I think you would enjoy Queer, but I think this was the better film.
Okay, and then what about Challengers?
Challengers is also a really good film. I think Challengers is probably equal to this one as far as filmmaking goes.
See, I wasn't curious by the trailer, but I'm curious by the reaction of the fans.
I mean, imagine this movie, but threesome.
Okay. With Zendaya?
With Zendaya in the middle.
And Prince Charles? Okay. Well,
Prince Charles in that?
One of the guys who plays one of the love interests played Prince Charles in The Crown. And so whenever I see him, that's all I can see.
I gotcha.
And so that's why when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh. Because all I see is Prince Charles. So I'll work on watching Challengers, but it's a legitimate reason why I haven't seen it yet,
sure.
I should say.
Call Me By Your Name is his... He essentially has this trilogy in his head that he has made. I think he calls it the Desire Trilogy.
Oh, my.
And it has the first film of that trilogy being I Am Love, and the second one being A Bigger Splash.
Okay.
And these are movies that I have not seen. But now that I know that this is the director's trilogy.
An unofficial trilogy.
An unofficial trilogy.
Yeah. Baz Luhrmann with Strictly Ballroom, Romeo and Juliet, and Moulin Rouge.
And then another director that we know that likes to do that is Edgar Wright did it with the...
Yeah, with Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and At World's End.
So this is another one that...
all of that off the top of my head.
I love it. That's why you're in this podcast.
It's why you love me.
It is. It's the only reason.
Oh.
He also worked on Suspiria, Bones and All, and then Challengers and Queer. But those are just a few. These are just a few of his movies. He's been a director for a long time. He's directed 42 projects since the 90s. A lot of them I'm not familiar with. A lot of them are foreign films to me. I would love to check out more of them because I really liked Queer and Challengers, and I'm interested. He's a director that definitely has me interested in what he's doing, what he's done, where he's going. And something that I found really, that I always laugh about now, during these last Golden Globes, Challengers was nominated for Best Drama, I think.
Yeah.
And then I think Amelia Perez won.
Yeah.
When everybody was going up to accept the award for Amelia Perez, him and a few other people of part of his group for Challengers, representing Challengers, all walked out of the Golden Globes. He was very upset by Amelia Perez, as were pretty much everybody. And I don't know.
Most of the people that I have seen Amelia Perez do not understand why Amelia Perez was nominated.
Nobody does. Nobody can figure it out.
It's because the Academy and everybody wanted to look good by giving awards to the trans movie.
I get why
every year gets one queer thing,
but that's the thing.
And
there were so many others. There were so many other movies that were doing a better job than Amelia Perez last year.
Watched? We are off on a wild tangent.
Okay.
But have you watched that Will Ferrell documentary where him and his lifelong friend who came out to him as trans?
No, but I remember you watching it. You've talked about it before on the podcast. And right now I can't remember, but
such a good film. It is Will and Harper. It is on Netflix. It's such a beautiful documentary. It is funny. It is heartfelt. You will laugh. You will cry. And the craziest part about it, part of it takes place in that weird town that you and I and our kid drove through on the way back from Death Valley, where we were passing through that really weird fucking town.
I can't believe that they went there.
It is a giant plot point of this documentary. And like Harper,
we discover more about this
a little bit. Yeah, and Harper kind of talks about her beautiful, and it's a really cathartic moment for her to admit why she wants to live in this little town in the middle of literally
goddamn nowhere. Were we right to be a little leery of it?
Yes.
Okay. I just needed to know that so we can go on.
Such a weird town. But anyways, watch Will and Harper. It's really beautiful.
Call Me By Your Name was written. The original novel was written by Andre Ackerman. He's an author. He's also he was born and raised in Alexandria, Egypt. He's an Italian American writer. He's a professor at the Graduate Center of the City University of New York. He teaches history of literacy theory and works on Proust. Of course he does. He had previously taught creative writing at the New York University and French literature at Princeton and Bard College. So the guy is very educated, very
smart.
literate. He's a professor and an author, and he's very smart. He was a winner of the 2007 Lambda Literary Award for gay fiction for writing Call Me By Your Name. Mm-hmm. And also a 1995 memoir called Out of Egypt. The novel was written in 2007. However, before it was even published, some producers
somebody bought the rights.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
They saw the early drafts from the like we've talked about this before. Publications will reach out to Hollywood. Hollywood always has feelers with publicists. So this was no different. They bought the film rights to the book before it was even published, but it took 10 years before the film was actually released. The director originally got hired as a location consultant in Italy, because they were like,
well, no fucking shit. This is one of the most beautiful goddamn films I've ever seen.
But the fact that he was hired as a location consultant first and not considered as a director yet. And I think
I wonder what that conversation was like.
Right? I want to
direct your movie.
He did call. I mean, it makes sense that the author is into Proust, and then the director, after reading the book, called it a Proustian book about remembering the past and indulging in the melancholy of lost things.
I'm going to go ahead and allow the internet to know something about me that I feel is a poor reflection upon my soul. No fucking clue what Proust is. I know he was a man, philosopher or English dude. I don't know what he did. I just know that he was important to smart people.
It's important to smart people.
And like, look, I will do some research on who Proust was and why he is important eventually, maybe. But at the moment, like, I know about, I am intelligent in some ways, and in some ways I am not. And I have no fucking clue who Proust is. So, do you?
I mean, I know he's a French literature dude. French literature. That's
French literature.
I haven't
dude.
read
Gotcha.
French literature.
No, I don't know a lot of
I know
French
he's a
literature.
famous. Like somebody talks about Proust.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's that French literature guy. Like,
See, I didn't know if it was like literature or it's like psychology. Either way, I just knew that they had made a joke about him on Frasier at least 4 times. So that's kind of all I got.
I mean, yeah, Frasier at least does it. Yeah, Frasier loves Proust.
Yeah, of course he does.
Of course he does.
Does he?
I believe he's talked about liking Proust.
I'm sure he has.
I'm
Maybe
sure
we
we'll do a
need to
rewatch,
rewatch
and
very
we'll be like,
soon.
he'll talk about Proust and like either loving or hating it.
And we're
Like,
like,
oh,
oh.
all right, now we know.
We'll watch the entire series to catch
Be
every
like,
Proust reference.
Maggie, he just mentioned Proust. Because you know what? Because we know he does at least
We
once.
know he does at least once.
Because he
I'm
has to.
down.
I bet he does enough for me to rewatch the whole series.
You'll have to check back in
figure it out.
season 2 for us to
Yeah,
revisit.
season 2 of Movie Mingle. Find out about
many
Frasier's
times?
love of Proust. The screenplay for Call Me By Your Name was written by James Ivory, also somebody who's been around the business for a while, directed 36 films, writer of 20. Just not my time or place. Like
Yeah, there's
movies,
nothing you recognize.
stuff that I'm sure he's written great screenplays. I'm sure he's directed great films. A lot of the stuff that I'm looking at right now has, there's a variety. Everything's between like a 5 and an 8. So, everything in between. I mean, he did A Room with a View from 1985.
I have seen that once and found it delightful.
He's been writing and directing since the 50s.
I mean, I remember hearing about The Remains of the Day and Howard's End, but I haven't seen most of these. I've pulled up his IMDb.
Yeah, it's a long list.
And it's, well, yeah, good for him.
Very healthy list of projects under his belt.
He did a decent job.
The music was done by Sufjan Stevens. He created some original songs for it that he sang and performed for. He worked on the piano, the piano work. I don't know about the cello because there's some cello in there too. But he did a lot of, not the piano that Timothée Chalamet's playing, because Timothée Chalamet actually learned how to or relearned how to play the piano since he had been taught as a young child, but relearned for the film and learned those pieces that he played. So what you're seeing, which is, I love when they show a wide shot where you can see the actor's hands at the same time as seeing their face.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that Timothy knew what he was doing there. Like,
Yeah.
That kid is so fucking talented. Of course he'd learn a couple
He learned
piano
Italian
songs.
as well.
Yeah, he already speaks French.
Yeah, so, which is why he speaks French a lot in The King. I love Sufjan Stevens. I love his music so much. I could just put on one of his albums and just relax to it.
I've only ever listened to Illinois. Yeah.
I one time...
But while you were writing the notes for the show and I was just chilling, I was listening to his songs from the soundtrack.
From this movie.
And they were very beautiful and very ethereal and lovely. Unfortunately, I then went over to the Sinners soundtrack and put on a song called Seance off of that soundtrack.
Well, there's your first problem.
And then I listened to it like 6 times in a row. So, but not to say that the music wasn't bad. In fact, I listened to the song that plays over the end credits and like, you can feel the heart. I mean, not only do you see the heartbreak of that song, but you could feel it too. It's a very beautiful song. I know that he was recently diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Sufjan?
Yes. It's some sort of rare... I don't know exactly what type of... what that syndrome does. I know he's also releasing a album very soon. Now Apple Music does this thing where when it finishes playing something, it then kicks into like related songs. I know Spotify's been doing that forever, but that's kind of new for me for Apple Music. It kicked on one of Sufjan
I've always said it. That's how I've heard it.
One of his newest songs called Death with Dignity, and I was really intrigued by it. All of this to say, I don't know why I haven't listened to his stuff more. I've liked what I've heard. I just haven't, given it a fair shot. I kind of forgot about it.
There was a time where I was taking the kids to school. At the same time, the vinyl club that I was part of was releasing a special edition of Illinois.
Yeah.
So I was really excited about it. I was like, oh my God, it would be so much fun to have this special version of this album. And there's a time release for the album to start pre-ordering it, or not even pre-order, just to buy it.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of dropping the kids off while the countdown was happening.
Yeah.
And I think I pulled over to the curb back when we can just park our cars on the curb, and the countdown had happened.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get in there, refreshing. I couldn't get in, and I was just like, as I'm like getting the kids unbuckled from their seats and getting everything arranged, I'm also looking at my phone, like refreshing, trying to get in to get the record. And then as I'm taking them like into their lines, I was able to like get in. Yeah. And I had like a quick buy option, like, because I've been a member forever, so you pretty much just like a one button buy kind of thing where it all your information just goes through automatically, and it's on the shelf.
I was gonna say I'm trying to look for it. My eyesight's not great right now. I can see Thundercat.
I'll show it to you later. It's the version. There's a different. I think Superman is on the. I think Superman is on the original cover, and this version has a different superhero on it.
Oh, okay.
How much is it worth?
Yes.
I mean, to me, it's worth. I'd sell it for a couple $100.
Yeah, I remember having a very long conversation with an old coworker about. I remember he was the reason why, because I had heard you talk about him in the past, and I was like, okay, whatever. And it took this old coworker being like, oh my God, you have to listen to Illinois to actually make me do it. So I've heard good things. I will deep dive back into his music.
Personally,
the music in this movie was, when it was there, was ethereal and beautiful. But then I realized towards the end that most of the scenes had really been like the soundtrack was just like the birds and the bees.
There was mostly no music.
Yeah. But there was a lot of background noise.
There was music connecting the scenes together. So there would break out in piano, and sometimes cello would join in with the piano. And then sometimes one of Sufjan Stevens' songs would come in. One of his original songs that he made for the film. Would come into the scene.
But I don't know, towards the end of the movie, I think it was when he's sitting on the bench that I was just like, oh my God, just the sounds of the life around him. And then I was just transported to the Italian countryside, which please somebody take me to the Italian countryside.
I do look forward to you listening to Illinois, but...
Again, I've heard it once. Don't remember it though, so.
I think... Overall, his work, I think Carrie and Lowell was his best. It was a love letter to his parents, who were Carrie and Lowell. Next, we have cinematographer Sayambu Mukdipram. Got his start in Thai cinema.
Okay.
He worked on Queer, Trap, Challengers, and Suspiria.
Yeah. Which I always kind of wanted to see, but it looked scary. Producer Robin has decided that now is the only time to get love from me or... Caveman.
What are you coming to me for, bud?
Oh. Producer Robin is not the cuddliest of cats. He sleeps at my feet. And occasionally attacks him in the middle of the night. He will occasionally bonk his head up against us, really only when he desperately wants pets in the kitchen. He likes the hard kitchen floor.
Being pet in the kitchen, on the linoleum for some reason.
But he doesn't give a lot of us love, but he is over here on Caveman's shoulder, just head rubbing
which is not his thing when we're podcasting. He usually
comes to me. Well, he did just come to me, and I threw him off the table.
Oh, so he's like, Dad, Mom doesn't want me.
That's why he doesn't.
Look at him. He's nudging my headphones.
Very cute.
Jeez. Okay. Rotten Tomatoes has Call Me By Your Name at a 95% from critics.
Fucking course it does.
And an 86 from audiences, which was a little bit on the surprising side. That's high, I think, for a movie like this.
Oh, it's very high
audiences.
for a movie that's like that. Yeah. It's.
I mean, not a lot of people saw it.
Well, yeah.
But
and I guess the type of people that are going to see this movie are
the kind of people who are already like,
yeah.
Oh, this is a story about what? Okay, I'm there.
Yeah, it's definitely more that. I mean, I don't imagine that a lot of Midwest moms and dads went to see this movie on a date night, and if they did, they left halfway through and they were like, "Oh dear."
Like that guy and his kid in Ted.
Fucking look. If you took your child to see Ted, but he stayed the whole time.
That's true. Wait, no, what am I thinking of? There was another one that some guy took his kid away eventually.
Was it Paul?
Maybe.
Yeah, but I just remember, but we definitely saw a
When
child
people
in the theater in Ted, and we were like, do you not know?
Did you not see the trailer at least?
Did you not, like
look into this at all? Like, what made, why are you
just
here?
saw, it was definitely.
I think it was just a dad who wanted to see Ted really bad and just like, well, I can't get rid of this yet. It's my day to see him. It's my weekend.
And he's like, fuck it.
Fuck it, I'm taking my son to see Ted. I don't
His
care
mother
if he's
will
6.
hate it. Yeah, they did not go to see Call Me By Your Name.
No, they did not. Letterboxd gave it a 3.9 out of 5, which fuck you, Letterboxd.
I mean, that's a B+.
Yeah, but it matches. Okay, Metascore gave it a 94, which Metascore does not give movies high grades a lot of times. It's always in the 70s. IMDb gave it 7.8 out of 10. It's fine, and IMDb is always like in the 7s.
Yeah.
But Letterboxd at a 3.9 out of 5, and IMDb at a 7.8 out of 10. Those two that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
And they're both the lowest on the list. I was just...
look,
whatever.
You can't...
Well, it's funny because this is one of the last live-action films we're doing on our list. This is a Letterboxd list, and it's at a 7.8.
Oh, it is at the bottom.
I know it's at the bottom.
60 movies. It's
sorry,
at the bottom of 60 movies.
There were many other movies that I would have put below this.
Same. But, we chose to go by this arbitrary list somebody else made.
Letterboxd made the list for us.
Yeah. And we went with it.
We went with it. Whatever algorithms or AI needed to be used to figure out this list.
Fucking why did people like Whiplash more than this movie? I don't know. Homophobia, I guess.
Just blame it on homophobia.
Always.
Actually, I recently saw the drum performance that drum performance was based on.
Yeah.
So much better.
Well, yeah, of course it was.
Because
fucking everything is better than Whiplash.
I'll show it to you later.
That fart that woke me up this morning was better than Whiplash. Had better bass.
You farted and you're just like, oh, Whiplash. Or you got Whiplash. Did I say that it brought the average to an 86%? This movie's at an 86%, which is great. I like that it's at an 86%.
I mean, yeah, that's a solid B. Yes, it should be a low A.
It should be a low A.
It should
even be like
a
95, 96.
Yeah. A low to mid A easily.
We already know how we all feel about this film.
How could you think that I had any other feelings
No.
than joy?
But I like to go through this,
this movie.
trying to see how far we can get. Unless I really want to know how much you liked it.
Really quick behind the scenes, real quick BTS. We watched this in 2 parts, and last night and tonight. And while I was at work today, I was telling a coworker of mine that I had been watching it for the first time, and she was staring at me really wide-eyed because I had just shit on The Matrix to her, a movie that she loves. So she's staring at me wide-eyed.
I got you in a mood, didn't you? You had to go to work and talk about it.
Absolutely. Because everybody's like, you like The Matrix? I gotta be like, give me my reasons.
I love that people at your work are still just
no. I am in the
solid
minority of not enjoying that movie, but like, fuck it, I don't care. But she was, the look in her eyes read fear as I was like, oh yeah, I'm finally watching it. And I'd be like, I liked it. And she was like, oh, thank God. So I found that very funny. But yeah, I had never seen this movie before, and I don't know why.
Same.
You had never seen? I thought you had seen this before.
No.
Really? This was your first time watching?
Yeah.
I could have sworn, I thought for sure you had seen it before. And I was like, why is he crying so much at the end? Like, doesn't he know what's happening?
No, even look at our, like, I've got a peach next to our...
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did you choose the peach on purpose when you chose that So you happen to choose a peach for Call Me by Your Name, a movie that famously
I've been doing this for all our movies ever since the podcast started.
And you didn't know.
You can look back on our Instagram. I've been putting peaches next to the movies that neither one of us have been watching.
Why the peach?
Because it wasn't an asterisk, and it wasn't a weird I don't know. An emoji popped
right
into my head, and I was just like, choose the peach.
And some divine presence touched you so that you would put a peach next to Call Me by Your Name, a movie that includes a scene where somebody fucks a peach. I would like to rewatch it. Yeah. It's been a very stressful weekend. It's been a very stressful day. As we sit here recording this, and while my head was in it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the film, I definitely wasn't as immersed into it. This feels like a movie I would love to watch in my bedroom by myself. Quietly.
Like with no distractions. Phone off.
Subtitles on.
Sure, yeah. I get that.
Because it was...
There are certain things that they were saying that I couldn't hear.
Yes.
And I was just like, did they say... I can't... Okay.
Yeah, I could see...
And then you're just like, all right, well, I'm not going to worry about it right now.
But still, beautiful fucking movie.
There
is something to be said about movies that you have to watch the subtitles with. There's been a few in our past where we've had to be like, subtitles. And because it's so mumbly and quiet, and no matter how good your sound system is, it's not a movie sound system, so it's still a little mumbly and quiet.
And
it's sort of the point of it.
Some directors purposely make the audio...
Yeah, but I'm not talking about,
quieter.
Chris Nolan in Interstellar. I'm talking about how, sometimes a movie is just quiet.
This movie was only made for $3.5 million.
Of course it was.
This is what you call an independent film.
Jesus Christ. This is a coming-of-age indie film.
It made $18 million domestically. Already, that's it's already made...
Quadruple?
Yeah. It made another $23 million internationally. Yeah. And $5 million on home media. For a total of $46 million. Yeah, it's a small little movie that made almost $50 million, which... some movies are made for $50 million, and that's what it
chose a location and they stayed there.
Oh my god! The location.
But what a fucking location! This movie is one of the most beautifully shot movies I've seen in a long time, because it's not big scenes. It's not lush sort of there's a few really big wide shots, but it's also like a fucking bird on a thicket or the pond, or the
transition scenes to go from time to... I really like...
But even how the film, even how the characters are filmed are beautiful. But you're right, the transition scenes where it's just like a door, the birds, the fountain.
Sometimes, though, the transition scenes were so instantaneous to another scene.
It was a little awkward.
Where there was nothing, there was no transition.
You're like, wait a minute.
It just was an instant...
I'm going to see the continuation of that scene.
Yeah, you were in one moment, and then all of a sudden, you're at the river, and he's coming out of the water or something.
And you're just like, wait, no, but you guys were just in the house.
You were just over there.
What happened?
You skipped something here.
Yeah. The passage of time is a very odd one in this film, because it's
there were some editing issues that I was like...
Choices. I wouldn't say issues. I would say
Well, that's
choices.
why I guess I mean choices and issues are the same thing in my head, because in their head it was a choice, and I was like, well, I see your choice as an issue.
Well,
Art is subjective.
No, it was... fuck you.
Come on. Fuck you. Fuck me. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck your mom.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
Don't bring her into this. Oh, God.
No.
God.
Fuck.
Fuck your grandma.
Oh, she's dead. Oh, God. Fuck.
No, I'm just saying that, I understand that you didn't like the choices, but they were the director's choices. I don't think that you can call an issue a choice.
Or the editor's choice.
Or the editor's choice, but either way,
this
movie is so lush, and it's so beautiful. And the way the camera lingers on characters, the way it lingers
on just a frame, like that shot where it just lingers on them riding their bikes into the distance.
Oh, yeah.
And it just stays there, and you just see them keep riding. So long.
And it's
a lot of
such a beautiful fucking scene.
They have some one shots.
They have some long shots, yeah.
They have some...
Just long set piece,
those
long
lingering
speeches.
shots. Yes, great dialogue.
And apparently, this movie wasn't rehearsed beyond a certain point. Like, they only rehearsed a little bit of it.
Wow. Which a lot of the stuff I saw Timothy Chalamet do, I was like, I wonder if he's just been told to just be there,
I mean,
lay
it's
there,
very realistic.
play with his shorts,
Well,
whatever you want to do.
we'll get to the reasoning behind why he did all of that here in a little bit. Because I have a theory about his character.
Francesca
Adonisio.
Adonisio.
Francesca.
Yeah.
Francesca.
Adon. Addon. So Adon. And then Ezio.
Francesca Adonisio.
Yeah, she was the editor.
And I think she did a great job. I mean, okay, yeah, there were admit, there were some very weird transitions.
There were some moments. She was also the editor on his trilogy, this trilogy that he's...
I guess I found some joy in the not knowing the complete story. Because love makes you forget smaller interactions and remember the big ones. You know, like, I know that the book is based on an older Elio thinking about this romance, right? Like 10 years later or sometime down the line, he's remembering this romance. And if you think about it in terms of that, although that's not what the movie portrays, but if you do kind of think about it in terms of that, there are some moments of sort of sparse memory where you don't fully remember interactions. I remember the big things with you and I remember a lot of small things, but I don't remember every minute.
Sure.
So maybe you can look at it that way.
You remember a lot more than I do.
I absolutely do.
Or you remember details that I'm just like, how do you remember what I was wearing that day?
I could not tell you. I just do. Like, you know my brain. It's a hellscape up in there.
Timothy Chalamet was nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role.
I mean,
that year, but he went up against Gary Oldman for The Darkest Hour.
Oh boy!
Daniel Day-Lewis in Phantom Thread.
Yikes! Daniel
Kaluuya in Get Out.
Okay.
And then Denzel Washington in Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Woo! I was about to say, who let that young boy in there?
He went up against Daniel Kaluuya, is older, but not by a ton.
No, but like fucking Daniel Day-Lewis and Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman.
They're still,
fuck.
like, every time it was the same thing when he did the Bob Dylan movie, where he got nominated for a bunch of stuff, but didn't really win anything.
No.
Here and there, he wants.
He will get.
He's gonna.
His Oscar.
It's the same. We were saying earlier. He's like Leonardo DiCaprio was in his early days. He wasn't winning. Leonardo DiCaprio still doesn't win a lot of awards.
No, but here's the thing.
But he does a lot of great movies.
Yeah, he does a lot of great fucking movies.
We know the stuff that he's done.
Yeah, we've watched a lot of. In fact, it's funny because you were talking about, how Timothy Chalamet has sort of permeated this podcast from beginning to end, but so is Leonardo DiCaprio.
It's like the two of them.
Yeah, and
they just
totally
keep coming up in movie after movie
Yeah.
after movie on this list.
It's odd, but it makes sense because they're both of our modern day best actors. Right, like they are.
There are a couple of them.
Yeah, there are a couple of them. We've got a good amount of good actors these days, but fucking Timothy Chalamet is killing it, and so is Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, I never unhappy to see either of them in something, and fuck if he wasn't good in Dune. Still haven't watched the Dylan biopic. I'm a huge fan of Bob Dylan. But I just kind of keep avoiding it for the sake of just being like, I don't really know. I guess I don't want to hate him, right? Because I don't know a whole lot about his personal life. And I remember not liking Johnny Cash for a while after watching Walk the Line. So I was like, this guy kind of sucks. Kind of a dick. Same with Ray Charles after watching Ray. I understand that these people have lived problematic and troublesome and crazy lives. But sometimes I just want to listen to the art and not pay attention to the artist. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And that's sort of how I feel about Dylan. I'm like, let me just keep my hopeful, youthful love of Bob Dylan because I fell in love with that motherfucker at 14. And that's let's just leave that there. Let's just leave baby Dylan with baby Maggie and just leave it.
When we were talking about Black Panther episode, we talked about Mudbound. Mm-hmm. Mudbound was one of the movies that was nominated for an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. Mm-hmm. And so was Molly's Game, which was a Aaron Sorkin film.
Okay.
Logan was also nominated for Best Screenplay.
God damn it.
And then the Disaster Artist was also nominated that year.
I mean, that was a pretty good film.
It was.
Yeah, it was a fun film.
It was good.
I loved how everybody from How Did This Get made a cameo in that movie.
Yeah.
Because they were so passionate about that film. Manzukas!
But Call Me by Your Name still won the screenplay for Best Adapted. And then it was also nominated for. It had an original song nominated, which was Sufjan Stevens'
Was it Visions of Gideon?
Mystery of Love.
Oh, man. Fucking. Visions of Gideon's the better song. Visions of Gideon's the one that. And I only know this because I literally just listened to it. But Visions of Gideon is the one that plays over the end credits. And that's a gorgeous fucking song. I guess the other one's pretty good too, but of the two, I would have gone for that one. But then, the wrong song from La La Land won, so what are you going to do?
Well, the other ones nominated were Stand Up for Something for the movie Marshall.
Uh-huh.
This Is Me from The Greatest Showman.
God damn it.
Mudbound again. The song was Mighty River. And then the winner, which we talked about, was Remember Me from Coco.
Well, yeah, fuck everything else.
Of course you can't.
Like fucking...
Sorry,
everybody else.
As much as I love Sufjan Stevens.
Yeah, man. Maybe you'll get an Oscar
Coco.
one day, but no, not fucking
that one.
Remember Me.
Sorry.
When you want to cry your face off.
Also, it was nominated for Best Film.
Mm-hmm.
Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Which, I mean, the list of just the filmmakers behind those movies alone are...
What won that year? 3 Billboards?
No, The Shape of Water.
Oh, The Shape of Water, yeah.
Which is another one, like Guillermo del Toro.
I only ever saw that once, but I did love it.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
Dunkirk was a great movie. Get Out was a great movie.
Yeah.
Lady Bird was good, but
fucking
I don't know
goddamn
about
it, Lady Bird. God, you know what?
Phantom Thread. I do want to watch eventually, but not yet. Amy Pascal's The Post, along with Steven Spielberg. Martin McDonagh. That's the
3 Billboards. Yeah.
He's been knocked out of the park as well.
Yeah.
Especially with Banshees of Inisherin in Bruges.
How many awards did it win overall?
A shit ton. It may have only won 1 Oscar.
Yeah.
But it won 107 awards.
Ew.
And nominated for another 263.
Ew.
Apart from those 107. So
damn. Oh yeah.
So many. I mean, screenplay.
Okay,
Screenplay won a lot.
Wait a minute.
Screenplay won a lot.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet won Chicago Film Critics Award. BAFTAs were given for Best Screenplay.
So this movie that was praised by critics, loved by critics,
Yes,
won a shit ton of awards,
it did.
was a commercial success in terms of its budget, and made a huge splash in pop culture. And it's 67th on this fucking list?
60s.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's the better movie than Whiplash.
But it's gay.
Oh, you're right. The
So gay.
gays. It's so gay.
You can't.
No,
Can't
you're
fight
right.
that. Because
Those
how
movies are
dare
real
those
gay.
gays?
Yep.
But let's get to the cast.
Fucking.
It's a great cast.
It's a great cast. We're probably only talking about, what, like 4 people now? Which
It's
is a
not
nice
big
change of
cast.
pace.
It's a great
for
cast, but
us.
it's not a big cast.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, who's been in almost every movie we've talked about on this podcast, it seems like.
Those fucking cheekbones have been in everything we've ever talked about.
Since he was a tiny boy
Yep.
in
Interstellar. Yep.
Till he was in Lady Bird
Which broke me.
and Little Women. Dune was his biggest one yet.
Yeah,
That was
definitely.
especially,
I don't think necessarily his best work, though.
not his best work, but definitely his
biggest.
biggest, most popular. Like, people know him from Dune now.
I will say that although Wonka was in it of itself kind of a shit movie, he was a great baby Wonka. He was so cute, just being this like flouncy little weird sprite bouncing around London. I thought he was charming. He made me cry. I have heard a lot of people, especially some coworkers, talk about Intergalactic, which was an animated film from Netflix. No, that's what I always think too. It's more like intergalactic.
Oh, enter.
It's this sort of like, it very much looks like the Into the Spider-Verse type, like drawing animation. Anyway, supposedly he's in it. But I've heard a lot of good things. I haven't watched Don't Look Up. I probably won't because I don't have a great time with movies where the world actually ends. I think because I'm so terrified and I've gotten into my head so many times that it's actually going to happen in my lifetime, and then I'll have to like cuddle the children and you as the asteroid hits. Anyways, it's something I don't like to...
Yeah, but it's an Adam McKay movie, so it's not that as bad as you might think it is, but...
I still don't really...
And
but I don't
Leonardo DiCaprio is really good in it.
No. Anyways...
Which, it's funny that...
Yeah, they're in it together.
They're in it together.
Yeah. And then the motherfucker's dipped his toe into some fucking Wes Anderson with the French Dispatch, which I never did see, but heard great things about. Like, Timothée Chalamet is a wonderful actor.
The Chalamet.
Like, look, we have talked about him a lot on this podcast. There's not much more to say. He broke me in this film.
Completely.
He's so real, and he's such a cute little twink, and I just... Like, although I looked up...
Small little baby butt.
Such a little boy. I looked up the story in the novels and where, like, these two characters, where their story goes. And while on the one hand, I'm like, oh, but on the other hand, I'm like, I think that... I guess speaking from experience of a person who fell in love with an older man and let it ruin her completely, I guess I hoped that he would move on and find somebody...
Move on.
Who... Fuck you. I was about to say somebody who treats him better and loves him more, much the way you did with me, but eat shit and die, I guess.
Next we have Armie Hammer, who now we've seen him twice on this podcast. First time for Social Network, where he played twins.
The Winklevoss twins.
The Winklevoss twins. The only other movie I've seen, I think, besides... this and that for the podcast was probably The Lone Ranger and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Other than that, I don't think I've seen anything else he's been in.
No. I mean, he's definitely been in a lot of weirder things lately. I guess you could say what you want about Armie Hammer and where his life has gone and what he's doing now and how he is desperately trying to claw his way back into the inner circle of Hollywood, and whether or not he ever actually does remains to be seen, or if he'll just be on the periphery like Mel Gibson, who, by the way, is way too close to Hollywood these days. Like, we all know what you did, Mel Gibson. We all remember.
Well, don't you know that he is now like one of Donald Trump's spokespersons?
Oh, fucking course he is. What a piece of shit.
For Hollywood? Like, he's
No, you're right. But they still gave him a fucking movie with Donnie Wahlberg. I mean, it was a movie with Donnie Wahlberg, but it was still released in theaters and not VOD. My whole point is that, while I, too, don't remember a whole lot of his movies that I have seen, he's fucking great in this. And it makes me a little sad that he went off the deep end, because he was really fucking good in this movie.
He was very, very good in this movie.
He was charismatic.
Which is...
He was aloof.
It's so upsetting when...
When a really great... I mean, like...
When a really good actor...
When a really great... Look, we've seen a few really great actors stumble and fall to the point where you're like, all right, I loved you once and I can't love you anymore. Fucking Kang from Ant-Man.
Which...
Jonathan Majors, sorry.
I'm so bad. Like, I know. I'm
so angry.
I know.
Because I really liked him.
But I so badly want to rewatch Lovecraft Country.
Well, then rewatch it.
I will. I'll get to it. But, I haven't had time to watch TV.
It is one of those things where, like, James Franco's taken a large fall, and I don't like a lot of James Franco movies, but I will watch that first Planet of the Apes because it's the best, and... He was good.
Well, and he's not the focus of that.
No,
whereas like the Disaster Artist,
he's
more of a focus on it. Or 120, 30,
I'll never watch that.
1,000 hours later.
But like fucking Armie Hammer, the chemistry him and Chalamet had, and apparently like the only day that they rehearsed, the director Luca was like, just pick a random page and we'll direct that page, and the page that they picked was, Oliver and Elio make out on the grass. And so Chalamet and fucking Hammer just went to town and started making out with each other to the point where the director was like, I've seen enough, and walked away, but nobody told them to stop. So they just kept making out. I would have liked to have been there that day. I would have liked to have seen that very much. Like, he was so fucking good. He was so effervescently charming and real in that sort of closeted 80s way. And that, you know, he had charm and he had smarm, and you know that he would go far in life, but he would never be happy because this is a man that's hiding his true self. And fuck, it was a beautiful performance. Which is upsetting to say about Armie Hammer at the moment.
I still really liked watching him and Chalamet in every scene. This whole movie, like, we'll get into the rest of the cast, but the majority of the movie is between Elio and Oliver. Mm-hmm. In the moment, I didn't care who Armie Hammer was.
Yeah,
I was watching Elio and Oliver. I didn't even care who Timothy Chalamet was.
Yeah,
I was watching these two people.
You're watching these two people,
and those scenes, dialogue, the settings, the mood, the
everything.
environment, the music,
the romance, the chemistry,
cinematography was absolutely beautiful. There were
a...
so many greens in that movie that I was just like,
green.
Everything's so fucking green.
Like, I live in an area that's pretty fucking green.
But that place was lush.
Oh, God.
Fucking Northern Italy in the summer. Take me to Northern Italy in the summer, Caveman.
Right. Okay.
I know, right?
Let's just
maybe this podcast will take us there one day.
One day.
Maybe
I'll sail to Hawaii.
It was like, you know, this movie sort of there's a lot of characters in this movie, but it hinges on these two, and neither one of them lets the other one down. They do. It's just such a good film.
Next, I want to talk about Michael Stuhlbarg.
Fucking
Jesus
this motherfucker.
Christ.
He's the one that broke you, right? It was his speech.
It was between him and then the end with Oliver and
but
like officially
while that dad was
Oliver's
giving that
engaged.
speech, you were full on crying.
Oh, yeah.
I could hear you sniffling.
It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah,
it was an absolute beautiful moment.
Nice.
He was in The Shape of Water. He was in A Serious Man. Boardwalk Empire he spent like the majority of that series on
Doctor Strange. He was Dr. West.
He was the other doctor, like the surgeon,
the one that
who
fucking
was
Strange always
trying
talks
to. Yeah,
I love that movie
Arnold
so
Rothstein
much.
from Boardwalk Empire. I wanted to get that across to people if they were wondering which character he was playing.
A great character actor who's done
a lot of stuff.
But holy shit, this movie!
This is the movie. Like Fargo. He was in a season of Fargo. You don't care about Fargo.
I don't care
love
about Fargo. I don't know. Maybe that movie can be on season 2 because I saw it once a long time ago.
This was
and
the
I
TV series.
I know, but I never even liked the movie because I saw it as a kid. Who was bored and didn't understand it.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that might have to be on season 2
because everybody fucking talks about Fargo.
Fargo is
when it comes to the series, I could care less. You know me, and like any sort of series, it takes a lot to get me to finish one.
The series is really good.
Yeah,
I will just say that. I'm not going to say that you need to watch it.
Like, I get it.
Well,
I get it. I'm never going to
see
watch The White Lotus either. Like, people can tell me how great it is, but like, I'm just not gonna
I will
do
just
it.
say season 1 of Fargo was my favorite. I thought Martin Freeman in that season did a phenomenal job. Moving on to Amira Kassar. Kaiser?
I don't know. Kassar?
Beautiful woman.
Oh, fuck.
Let me just say.
Gorgeous.
Only 10 years older than me.
She's a British actress?
So I'm available.
I'd be fine with that, actually.
Yeah, she's a British actress.
I remember looking up... Oh, she's in that At Eternity's Gate movie with Oscar Isaac and Willem Dafoe that I've never seen.
That's right. The painting one.
Yeah.
With, Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was one other film that I saw of hers that I was like, oh, that makes sense, or I recognize that, but at the moment I'm not seeing it on her IMDb. She was a beautiful, first of all, the mom is 1000% the shipper of Elio and Oliver. And
she plays it off.
She plays it off. And even at the end, when he asks his dad, does mom know? And he's like,
I don't think so.
But
no.
I kind of think he was lying.
especially at the very, very end when Oliver calls.
Yes.
And Elio, they're talking about him being engaged. And the parents are acting, they're on the phone with him and they're acting very happy and excited for him getting engaged. But as soon as they hang up the phone, their looks on both their faces. They both have that look. Of course, both parents.
Yeah.
Both those parents knew so early in the relationship before even Elio was aware of it.
You brought up that the two parents reminded you of which other two parents?
Nick
Birch
from Big Mouth. His parents, just that openness, that
sex positive
when he tells his dad that he almost had sex with the girl that he's into.
Yeah.
And his dad's kind of like, well, why didn't you?
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of Nick Birch's father reminds me of that. And then the other parents were the parents from the movie Easy A.
Yes.
With,
Stanley Tucci.
And
Allison Janney? No. And it's funny because Caveman, we were sitting in our bedroom watching this film, and Caveman was like, these parents remind me of two other parents. And my first thought was also the Birches.
Yeah, you
because they're
the Birches.
so sex positive.
We were talking about that, and then before I could even say Easy A,
I was like,
you were like, Easy
the parents
A?
from Easy A, yeah. Stanley Tucci and... oh, no, what's her face? Patricia Clarkson, yes! Fuck, I love Patricia Clarkson. I had a sex dream about her once. And I have to bring that up every time I talk about Patricia Clarkson. But it was a good dream.
I love parents that are sex positive in a open... communicative way. Yeah. And this isn't something both the parent and the child know that this is not something that's been taken lightly, because conversations leading up to this have already happened.
So where are we at that with our kids? Because
are they
no, but you have to start young.
Are they?
You have to start from a young age. You have to start. We should have already started if we wanted to be that sex positive. But I think now we can approach it. But of course, our kids are going to shut down and be like,
we've brought things up with our kids already that our parents would never have done.
No. I've explained to my son what menstruation is and all the different tools that go along with it. We are already better at that than our parents were, but I don't think that we're here.
I don't think I'm to the point and that's
you're not Dr. Birch.
I'm not Dr. Birch in any because
thank God.
I love Dr. Birch.
I know, he's such a great fucking character.
I wish he had a first name.
He does.
He literally
Elliot.
Oh, is it?
It's Elliot. Yeah, it took me a second to remember.
Nobody was ever calling him.
Oh
by his
no,
first name.
Diane calls him Elliot all the time. Oh, Elliot.
Oh,
that's not
no.
about Diane.
Sorry, I'm talking about Mr. Perlman from the movie.
Yeah, the father from...
Because he also is only known as Mr. Perlman.
Yeah.
But Elliot Birch, yes. I love Elliot Birch, and Mr. Perlman,
he's a great dad.
He's a great dad. I love his humor. I love...
his kindness.
His kindness and his relationship with Oliver.
Mm-hmm. I like his relationship with his wife, which I found really lovely and really friendly and good. Then he mentions at the end that he's never felt the same sort of love that Elio feels for Oliver, and I'm like, your wife is amazing.
No, I think that ending, and we'll just talk about it now, I guess.
No, we're into it. I mean, we talk about the 4 people in the cast that anybody really cares about, and
so the
rest are great Italian actors.
I took it as he was telling his son that he had desires. Homosexual desires that he never fulfilled.
In the book, it comes down to just love, not homosexual desires.
But the way that last
you read it,
that last talk that he had with his son,
yes.
It came off that he was saying, "I had these desires as a young man. I didn't go through with them, and instead married your mother. Or decided to go this direction instead of that direction, and." Part of him, he said, yes, for him it was a choice. No. I think much like Elio, both him and his father are bisexual.
Yeah.
Or at least, have those bisexual urges and desires or...
wants, thoughts, lusts, fantasies.
Fantasies. I think they have those fantasies, and so he's jealous of his son that his son took that chance.
Yeah.
If anything, he at least took the chance and went for it. Which back in 1983,
Yeah,
which
true.
a lot of times during this film, I just, because we were so deep in Italy.
Yeah, so you're so engrossed in like the area, but not necessarily the time period.
Right.
Because the movie itself feels timeless.
It feels timeless.
Yeah. And so you don't think about...
You're just on this property in Italy, which is in this town.
Yeah.
And they never really leave the town. They're just always kind of...
You're right, and you don't really think about the geopolitical existence of 1981, 83. Yeah, because it was before I was born.
I'm not looking at the town or the cars or the people. The dress. Everybody kind of just looked... Everything just looked Italian, and I'm just like, this is, I'm here to watch this Italian setting, and so I kept forgetting. I was like, why? What's the problem? Why can't they just
be together?
Yeah. And like, oh, it's 1983.
Well, one of them's 17, the other one's 24.
That was the other problem. It's interesting. In 1975, before 1975, the legal age in Italy for an adult was 21. So,
but the age of consent is 16.
Now, by age of consent, you're just saying that him and his parents have agreed that this...
No, it means that legally at the age of 16, he can consent to have sex with whomever he so chooses. There are some states where the age of consent is crazy low. It's changed in later years,
sure,
of course. But yeah, no, in Italy in the 80s, the age of consent was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, their age difference is a little squirrely. When you're a teenager and you feel like you're a dorky dweeb and you're introverted and you just want to read your books, and somebody
transcribe music,
and somebody connects with you in that way and awakens you. It's a very powerful thing. I realized maybe about a third of the way, maybe even a quarter way into the film, that we're falling in love with Oliver at the same time as Elio. Like, this movie is so much from Elio's point of view that, like, we are introduced
to Oliver the same time that Elio meets him.
We get annoyed with him. We
rarely are
him.
alone with just Oliver
for a while. And then it starts to develop, and the way that this film progresses, it's so beautiful. But the way that it progresses, how time has no meaning. They have 6 weeks together, I think. And it's not like week 1, week 2. There are no title cards explaining when the date is. You just kind of have to wonder and guess, how this story is being told. And even though, about halfway through they kiss for the first time, but then there's so much more to that. And then there's like their first time, and then there's, the blah, 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 and him leaving and yada, yada. But that lush beauty of falling in love with somebody, it's so good. I think that's when I surrendered. Because, like, I sat down to watch this movie, like, okay, Armie Hammer, like, all right, like, we'll see, click.
I guess this is a movie I gotta watch.
And not, like, I was upset about it, like, God damn it, I really don't want to watch it, but I was like, well, I've never seen it before, like, whatever, here we go. Going into it with just a blank slate of just indifference, right? I went into this movie indifferent. And literally, less than a quarter of the way in, I was like, I will kill for these two. Like, this is amazing. And it's such a and it was the beauty of the movie and the way it's shot and the cinematography and the costumes that captured me. Those long, lingering shots on conversations that ultimately mean nothing. The sly glances, that like fountain / pool that they jump into, which give me that. I want to have that. I became obsessed with the world, and I'm so happy to live in it for a couple hours.
Yeah, to the idea of just like waking up
to the sounds of the birds and the bees and the insects.
Sunny Italian day, and
then
just
your mom's like, "Here's some fucking
have some tangerine juice.
Have some tangerine juice
from our fresh tangerines. that we grow
fresh nectarine juice.
Not our property, because they rent the property.
No, I think they own it.
They own it? Okay.
Yeah, because at one point, one of their guests was like, you've changed since like you inherited this place.
Oh, inherited. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it was a summer house.
Yeah.
They were saying...
they only would go there for summer and Christmas. Yeah. Which I guess is the only time we see them there, yeah. I want to be that old Italian lady sitting on her fucking porch, like... pulling, tending to her beans, and two hot twinks walk up to me and are like, "Can we have some water? We're thirsty." And I'm like, "Absolutely." Like, game recognizes game, and that's the life that I want. Like, I want wisteria to grow all over my feet because I haven't moved in years. Taylor Swift lyric.
Wow.
I just want to sit in the countryside and just be. I want to just exist in that calmness.
Let me just exist.
Like, not in this insanity, not in this big. I love living in a city.
Let me lay in the grass, enjoying the sun.
Yes, long lingering
take a dip
lazy
in the
days.
river.
Just
drink my tangerine juice and ride
and
my
fuck peaches.
and ride
and ride my bike to town
fuck
and fuck a
peaches.
peach. Yeah. Speaking of peach fucking,
yes.
we have been watching a lot of Big Mouth and Human Resources over the last month plus because we're trying to catch up with you Caveman. I've never seen the whole series. I have. So we're trying to catch up.
So very close to catching up.
Yeah, getting to the final season.
One more season of Human Resources. One more season of Big Mouth.
Yeah, and then we can start
before
the
the
final
newest
season.
Yeah.
And I've watched these series quite a few times. I've rewatched the series a lot more than you have. So I feel very confident when I say Maury is 1000% the hormone monster of Elio. To the point where when I told you this while we were watching the movie, we started then being like, I swear to God, Elio.
We would make voices
Fuck the peach.
as Maury.
Fuck it.
Fuck that. You gotta fuck that peach, Maury.
You gotta fuck the peach more. I swear to God, if you don't, I'll kill myself.
Come on, Elio.
Gotta do it.
Gotta stick your dick in there.
I
Get a
swear
little
to-
hard,
I
rubble
swear to
around a
God.
lot, feel the juices.
If you don't put his shorts over your head and take in a deep breath and pump the bed, I will kill someone.
Don't worry, don't clean up of yourself. Just roll around in it real fast.
And I made my famous Swiss roll. The filling has been in my family's nutsacks for generations. You see, the filling is my cum. Have you not seen my episode of Spunk History?
Do you mean drunk history?
No. Spunk History. I chug a bunch of my own jizz and tell stories about the past.
Like, it explains every weird sexual thing he does. I could just see Maury whispering in his ear, and it somehow made the movie better. Because understanding, I guess now we have to come down to understanding our different characters that we love and their hormone monsters. But I feel like with this movie, which is as horny as can be, this movie is so horny.
This movie's so horny.
So fucking horny. And I couldn't not see fucking Maury being like, Connie, I swear to God, these kids, they haven't gotten it together yet.
There was
I had him fucking a peach, Connie.
oh my God. First
In the book,
we
he
watch
eats
him,
the peach.
Oh my God. First we watch him finger the peach, pull the pits out, and then he was like fingering it, and I was like, out loud to Maggie, I was like, he's gonna fuck that peach.
And I knew that one was coming.
And I was like, I was just waiting for it, and he was
I
just
was like,
he kept on kind of looking at it and fingering it.
Yeah,
And then he just started, and then he just moved it down, and I was like, yep.
You know, I can eat a peach for hours.
I've never wanted to eat a peach that bad. But I will say that according to the IMDb trivia, of which I told you a lot while we were watching the movie, but I saved some for,
Great.
including this little fun nugget.
Oh boy.
Both the director and Timothée Chalamet both wanted to test out whether or not you could fuck a peach, and both found it successful.
All right.
So to all you peach fuckers out there,
if
I
you're
say,
wondering
grazie.
if Timothée Chalamet actually really did fuck a peach, now you know.
Yeah, that's according to the IMDb trivia.
The fact that you would just admit, yeah, I fucked a peach.
Well, I tried it. It's not I fucked it. It's I tried it.
Do you think anybody from American Pie actually tried fucking a pie before making the film?
Absolutely,
You think
some of
so?
those fucking perverts did.
I mean,
If
maybe
Jason
after
Biggs
the filming. I
didn't-
can see them doing it
If
after.
Jason Biggs didn't get curious
I
at
can see
least
the audience,
once,
people have definitely tried after
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
the movie.
did
And
you?
No. Some parts of this film reminded me of Saltburn. That unrequited love,
Yeah.
that desire,
The longing.
that longing.
Well, though, but
the kind of the way it was filmed.
yeah, I can see that. I kind of forgot about Saltburn, which isn't saying, 'cause how do you forget about Saltburn?
I fucking love Saltburn.
Oh, I know,
still.
it's such a great goddamn movie. Like that,
So underappreciated.
So underappreciated. And
One
I think
day.
appreciated.
One day.
I feel like Saltburn is appreciated for different reasons. I think everybody's talking about the grave fucking scene and not the scene where they're all having lunch while the dude's body is being taken away.
For the right reasons.
No.
The same.
Because everyone's like, oh, he fucked you. Like, oh, he like just in the pool.
Like, is that
and blah,
the
blah,
only
blah.
thing you can focus on?
No,
is just
like,
the cringy moments?
The awkwardness of that family. That's what gives me the most cringe. Like, I don't care that he fucked a grave or like drank jizz water. I care about the scene where they're all sitting around the table having lunch after what's his face dies. Because that's what they had to do. That was their job, and everybody reacting to it. I mean, that scene is a masterclass.
That movie also has an Oliver in it.
Yes, it does.
Come on, float, 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 Oliver!
I love that they actually did get together, and I love the moment where Timothy Chalamet is like, we wasted so much time. Because they did, right? I mean,
all those days, weeks,
of
however
awkwardness.
Much time went by of like, because it's 1983, and just because you have these feelings for another person, doesn't mean you can just act on them.
No,
or ask, or you can't just be like,
no.
"Hi,
hello,
would you like to do some gay stuff with me?"
Yes, I would.
Great, let's go. Like
handshake.
In a perfect world, that's the way it would work.
That's how Maury would want
That's how Maury was it.
Yeah.
You want to do some gays? Ask him to do some gay stuff with you.
I swear to God, you need to put your face right up his asshole. Wear him as a hat.
Unfortunately, that's not the way it works.
No, it's not. But I love that, right? Because then their love affair has a time limit. You know that it's doomed. It's not doomed for the age difference or the where they live in the world or anything else. It is literally a time. It's a ticking time bomb.
That last night.
And I don't know about you. I can't say I had like a summer romance. But when I was a teenager, there was a day where I met a cute boy at a music festival and spent the day with him and ended up making out in the woods with him, as you do, and being serenaded by the bagpipes, as it sometimes happens to you.
Did he play them?
He played them, yes.
He played them.
And like, so we got a solid like 6 to 8 hours together, and there was that we knew that eventually the day would end and we would have to part, but while me from one state and him from the other met in the third state, and spent this magical day together. And when you're 17 and you're young and you're dumb and you're horny as hell, like shit like that is magical. Now, I've never been in Elio's situation, although, my God, can I come back in my second life as Elio, please? Because I want to live there. I just want to live there. I don't necessarily care about making out with Armie Hammer. I want to swim in that, like, fountain pool. I want to. Give it to me, please. I want to eat that peach.
Give me some goddamn tangerine juice.
Goddamn tangerine juice.
Or nectarine?
I think
it's wrong. Yeah, nectarine.
Every time it's wrong.
It's nectarine.
Give me that peach juice. Hey.
It probably wasn't even a peach. That probably was a nectarine.
No, it was a peach. They call it a peach in the story.
Okay.
And like,
it's just with all the nectarine juice and the nectarine trees and the nectarines and nectarines.
You know that
and he picked it off the...
You know that nectarines are just fuzzless peaches, right?
Fuzzless?
Fuzzless.
But then
peaches have the fuzz on the outside, nectarines don't, but on the inside, supposedly they're the same. Although I don't believe them, because a peach is better than a nectarine. Fight me on it.
A peach is better than nectarine, sure.
Nectarines are more sour.
So, but you'd rather have nectarine juice?
But I'd also rather have peach juice, too. Like, I would drink peach juice.
I mean, peach juice is popular.
Dude, when Jess and I went to Switzerland with each other, they had these like small cardboard cartons of peach iced tea, and I drank my goddamn weight in them. They were amazing, and I would kill for some right now. But anyways, yeah, like I want to live. It's not just this beautiful, tragic, lovely romance, but it's the fucking set of this. I mean, this movie was filmed on location, and you feel every second of it. I want to go to there.
One of my favorite shots.
Yeah.
Was this really? I think it was a sped up shot too, but it was a sunrise. But it wasn't. The camera wasn't pointed at the sun. The camera was pointed at the side of a building that the sunlight was hitting.
Yeah.
And it hit it first at a really kind of like dull light. And then I think the speed was like ramped up on it because it became a brighter, harder light.
Yeah.
And much brighter, and it really reflected off of that stucco, and you could feel the warmth off of that building.
Yeah.
But it was just this really, just neat, just really quick, neat shot, and there were so many of those. Just like, wow, that is such a specific shot, or specific moments of characters doing things that didn't need to be in there, but were just so like. We're just going to show you this random shot.
Like when Chalamet goes to look for ice for his bloody nose and he leaves the frame, he leaves the refrigerator, and he disappears. And there's a moment, there's a pause, and you're like, what's next?
It's just pointed at the fridge and nothing else.
And it's just the cook lady coming in and just shutting the freezer behind him because he didn't close it all the way. Like,
or the old man on the ground laughing at the situation that's happening, the conversations that are happening.
Yeah.
The conversations he has nothing to do with them, but he's there witnessing them, and the camera just points at him for a quick kind of giggle where he's enjoying.
You know what shot I really loved was when the old man brings up the fish, that giant catfish or whatever that he, they're taking to dinner, and then Chalamet is like stretching, but in the background you see the old man walking the fish to the kitchen door, and then the cook lady comes out and sees it, gets all excited, and he says to her, "It's a beautiful one." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so excited." She literally says like, "Oh, I can't wait," or whatever. And then they like walk the fish into the kitchen together.
Yeah.
And just how it lingered, like you could be looking at the father and the friends talking. You could be looking at Chalamet standing there shirtless. But I was drawn to this little scene, this little vignette of
just watching them
the
take
old
a
man
fish
and
to
the fish.
house.
Yeah. And then I was like, I wonder what she's going to make with that. Nothing I would like to eat, but I'd maybe give it a shot. I don't like fish.
I know, but I have a feeling that food is just so.
Oh yeah, it's probably so fucking good you don't even care. Like
fresh caught Italian food, homemade like that. I bet it's
like
just
yes, please, whatever you want.
Give me more than 1,000 more pounds of it.
But no, I guess I can say I'm pleasantly surprised by this film. And again, I wasn't avoiding it for any particular reason. I just hadn't seen it.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you're like, oh, here it's great, but I don't have the time and I don't have the energy. And I'm really glad that we got to watch it because I really, really enjoyed it.
It's very, very enjoyable for me. I really, really love this movie.
What would you rate it?
I would probably give it 4.5.
Okay. I would probably give it a 4. Mainly because it didn't make me cry. If it had made me cry, I would have gone to 4.5. But I felt nary a tear, although you did. And I love that you are man enough to cry at films.
I have no problem crying during a movie.
I know. And I especially don't have any problems crying.
Well, yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought the story, the relationships that everybody had.
No, it's a beautiful film.
The dialogue, that's the talk that his dad and him had at the very end.
I will say.
Was just so.
Really quickly.
Fucking good. Well,
I have parents that are supportive as they can be as boomers towards their weird queer child. They're as far along as they'll ever get, and it's not that great, but it's at least acknowledging like, oh, you're not straight, okay, all right, you married a man, so it's fine. But I would have loved to have had a father that was as supportive as Elio, and I know I'm not the only one who feels that way, and I have turned around then to my children and to my children's friends. And I've tried to be that sort of level of supportive, right? I'm trying to be the level of supportive that I didn't get but needed. So when it comes to my children and their own proclivities, we're very accepting and we're very loving and we're very open and we're very like, oh, how do you feel? What do you feel? Cool, great, good for you. Are you happy? Are you safe? Fantastic. We support you. We love you. We're here for you. So at least I know that our children get to be accepted in the way that Elio was accepted, which is a beautiful thing, especially as a mom looking at her husband and the father of her children being that accepting, being that loving, and that kind. I'm not surprised that hit you in the heartstrings. And I think it's beautiful that it did.
So, Maggie.
Yes, Caveman.
I have 2 questions for you.
Hit it!
One hell of a fight, huh? Nothing like a firefight. These guys are nothing. I got you covered. Man, look at all of them. Not a bad situation, all things considered. Who do these guys think they are? I'll take the 12 on the right. We're wearing them down. Keep an eye on your 6. Well, this is fun. We're really burning through these guys. Where'd they find these guys? Getting a little hot out there. You want to help me with this guy? Taking some fire here. Help me out here. A little help? I could use a wingman right about now. They're all over me. Get over here. Got one on my tail. Can't shake him. Get here quick or I'm done. Taking enemy fire. Could use an assist. You have to beat him without me. You can do this. Sorry, pal. I'm done. I did my best for you. Good luck. It's all yours now, bud. Taking too many hits. I'm out. Good luck. That's it for me. It's on you now. Going down. Don't let these guys win. Looks like you'll have to get this one done alone. Wish I could have helped more.
What? First of all, halfway through that, I was like, that's not him. And then I was like, wait, is that him?
Oh,
and then when he said going down, thank you very much for that.
Going down.
What the fuck? Is that every single one of his lines in a cockpit? Or what the fuck is that?
No, that is, and then it's not even every line, but that is a lot of lines from Star Wars Battlefront 2, the video game,
That's not him.
That he did not do.
I knew it. But wait a minute. Wait.
But
Poe Dameron is a playable character in Battlefront 2?
Yeah, I believe it. I believe he is.
Oh, why have you not done that? Excuse me, why have you not done that?
But he is not.
Why have you not done that?
He is not played by Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, no, that wasn't
He is
him.
instead played by Matt Lanter, who played
Anakin
Skywalker in the
yeah.
Clone Wars.
Oscar.
I know. So yeah, he's our new voice of Oscar Isaac.
Fuck you say.
But Maggie,
Yes.
my first question being, would the presence of Oscar Isaac, not Matt Lanter, in Call Me by Your Name, would his presence have made this movie better?
No, I think it's a pretty perfect film without him. It wouldn't have made it better. It wouldn't have made it worse. I would have been totally fine had he been there. But it is not necessary for him to be in it for me to enjoy this movie, so no.
Well, second question then.
Yeah.
Which character would you have had Oscar Isaac play?
You know, at any point in his life, he could have played all 3 of the main male characters. He easily could have been, young.
Oh, sure.
Young twink.
Younger
twink
him,
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
And then he could have been slightly older, but
and now,
dead sexy.
And now Daddy Oscar.
Yeah,
could
could play the father himself. Since I have to pick one, I'm going to say...
Yeah, which one of those 3 roles could he play the best?
I would like to have replaced him with Armie Hammer with him, because as good as current Daddy Oscar would be as the father of Call Me by Your Name.
I really love that dad.
He did such a good fucking job.
Plus, Armie Hammer being a little problematic.
Yeah,
let's put some Oscar Isaac in there.
It would be weird.
Watch Oscar Isaac
and his son Timothy Chalamet
from Dune. Ugh. Whoops.
We need the desert power of Arrakis, and also let me eat that peach.
Oh.
You know, I can eat a peach for hours.
And that has been this week's episode of Movie Mingle on Call Me by Your Name, and we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. As we kind of stare down the end of this first part of this silly little podcast of ours, I just want to say again, thank you so much for everybody who has taken the time to listen to even an episode. Probably not this one, but I still appreciate it, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers and your family and that weird movie guy at the corner market that you know about our little show, because even though we're almost done with part 1, we've still got plans for more, because fuck it, why not? We're having fun. Yeah, please leave a 5-star review wherever you feel we deserve on your podcast platform of choice. You can always find us on Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd at MovieMinglePod. You can find us on YouTube at MovieMinglePodcast, and you can write us any of your thoughts, comments, questions, and concerns at movieminglepod@gmail.com. We're always happy to receive letters from you. Next week, we will be watching Shrek 2 Electric Boogaloo. And I'm very excited because I haven't seen that movie in a long, long time. And I'm, after having recently watched Shrek for the show, I'm excited to see the second one. So join us on Wednesday for that. Otherwise, take good care of yourselves. Be safe out there in this big, wide world. And just remember, I could eat a peach for hours. And go mingle. Bye. Please put that clip in there.
Are you an effective team?
We are an effective team.
Let them fight.
How did you just do that?
I'm a really good lawyer.
Here on Caladan, we've ruled by air power and sea power. On Arrakis, we need to cultivate desert power.
Welcome, Mr. Beach. What's that bar? I'm a little confused.
Well, we wouldn't want that, would we?
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. What is that?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Toga, 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 toga.